Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin vs. the World. I'm Septum Sin. Well, today we're going to be jumping into another of our Criterion films. I'm going to be putting in a Criterion playlist on my particular movie section so you guys can actually see a lot of these in order. I previously covered Vampire, and you're probably not going to see this until after October is over, because I'm probably going to throw some horror movie reviews in front of it. But this probably goes better in order with Vampire. So we're going to be covering the Criterion Collection movie Armageddon. I got this for two reasons. One, it was cheap. I mean, this thing was less than $5 on the Criterion sale. And two, it highly amuses me that Armageddon has a Criterion release. It's one of those... I even hold it above Robinson Crusoe on Mars, because Robinson Crusoe on Mars, at least there's some sort of classic component to it. This, no. So, we've got this Michael Bay film, and not necessarily the one Michael Bay film I would say deserves a Criterion release in Criterion. So, let's talk about the film itself. We have a group of oil workers. They're drilling and they're doing their thing, and one of the lead oil worker is played by Bruce Willis, and he's kind of teed off with Ben Affleck, who is wooing his daughter, and he wants his daughter to have something better than this. In the meantime, it's discovered that this asteroid is coming directly towards the Earth, and if it collides to Earth, pretty much all Earth is doomed. So they come up with a plan to drill a deep hole, stuff a nuke in the hole, and then blow up the asteroid. Well, they find out that it's a lot tougher to train astronauts to drill a hole than it is to teach oil drillers to be astronauts. So they hire Bruce Willis, who puts together this ragtag crew of ruffians who are good drillers, and they go and defend the Earth and the American way. Yep, that's pretty much how it goes. This movie is not terrible by any means. It evokes a lot of, patriotic emotion, and it definitely takes you on a roller coaster ride of action and suspense. That really is. Michael Bay is excellent at explosions and things going wrong and action scenes. And when Michael Bay actually isn't being skimpy Michael Bay, Transformers, you find a lot of actual beauty in this. He really is great with special effects. He knows what they are. He knows how to make a film look good. And he knows how to make action look good, which is really what he does best. Pearl Harbor, for instance, is probably one of the best examples of this. Even the first Transformers shines in this matter. The rest of them, let's just say that he likes to cut corners where he can and likes to reuse his work. The acting is okay. The story, though a little bit campy, it does actually make you feel something. So that's worth it. That's worth a little bit of praise in that aspect. But the place where this really shines is the music itself. Aerosmith is behind a good portion of this background, and there are also some other sources. But the main song in the end, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, that really is one of the better songs. It's sad that that was one of the few songs that they didn't write, but the performance was excellent. And a lot of the usage of the music where they had puts this really up there, in my opinion. Now, let's go with some of the lower end. Well, this is not a thinking man's movie. This has never been a thinking man's movie. If you try to think too much as to any logic behind character actions, logic behind the storyline, try and put any science to it. It'll totally destroy any aspect. So you cannot look at this from a logical perspective, or else you'll be yelling at the TV, and that does you no good because they don't listen. I've tried. They really don't. Well, maybe that one time, but that was something totally different. I won't take that again. But there are some things that permeate it like everything else. I mean, there's this concept he tries to push that the everyday blue-collar worker is the everyday hero. That they can do more than all the scientists in the world. That they are the hero. He knows who his demographic is, and he speaks to that demographic. So if you're not a full part of that demographic, you're going to have a little bit of a problem with that film. I'm speaking mostly to liberals who are not blue collar. You're going to have some issue with Michael Bay films. But that being said, out of what I've seen, it's pretty good. So my advice, suspend your disbelief. Sit down and try and enjoy this. It's worth at least one good watch. And it is a long watch, so get ready for that as well. I would give this particular film a 7 out of 10. Because it's really good, believe it or not. I really enjoyed it. But it's a Michael Bay film, and it suffers from being a Michael Bay film. With that being said, I thank you all, and I will see you on the next review.